Hey YouTube, what's going on? Thought I'd switch gears. I ask myself these days, other than the stock market and investing and money, as an old man, you start to lose interests in a lot of hobbies, a lot of activities that you used to be super passionate about. And that's true for me. I used to be the biggest video game nerd. I used to watch tons of movies and TV shows. I wasted, I think, 2 years of my life, total time played on World of Warcraft. I asked myself, let's say I were to retire tomorrow and I have way more free time on my hands. Granted, I'm married and I have a son, but what else would I be doing with my free time? Not gardening, not making bread, not sports, even though I do like to work out and go to the gym. I think my one passion left that is still I have from childhood is fighting games. The Street Fighters of the world. I've always loved fighting games early on. I'm an 80s kid, so Street Fighter 2 came out. When did that come out? 1990, 1991? I don't know, I just remember it being awesome. You had that old school arcade, and then people were lining up quarters and like, I got next! And you would just hover around and see who the local king of the mountains were. And you wait your turn and then you get your ass kicked. And there was no internet, there was no Wikipedia or something you could just look up on your phone real quick. So I was amazed at how did that guy throw a fireball? And he's doing a hurricane kick. This is so cool. And I just remember I fell in love with Street Fighter 2 back in the day. And then the whole wave came. Then you had Mortal Kombat, where you had fatalities. How did people know how to do fatalities? They must have got a subscription or a telephone hotline to get those secret moves for the fatalities, because again, there's no internet. I didn't know even Scorpion's fatality, block up, or Sub-Zero, forward down, forward high punch. I didn't know how to do that back in the day. I was amazed when I saw the fatality. You were the coolest kid if you knew how to do a fatality in Mortal Kombat. And then that's when it took off, really. It was back in the 80s and 90s. That was the machismo days where you had Van Damme and Chuck Norris and Sylvester Stallone and Arnold Schwarzenegger, Steven Seagal, all types of martial arts stuff. So the video game developers jumped on that trend and then they made these fighting games. One of my favorite movies of all time is Van Damme and Bloodsport. The music from Street Fighter 2 was inspired by the Bloodsport soundtrack. I didn't know that. And Stan Bush for the win. Fight to Survive, one of my favorite songs. I use that whenever I work out. Yeah, that's just my history and childhood with fighting games, and then I kind of had a knack for them early on, not like pro level like these geniuses that you see, these prodigies. I could always hold my own. I remember one in particular, I remember when Marvel vs. Capcom came out, and I looked like a nerd with my glasses, and there was this 30-year-old dude who thought he was this shit. And I just played him, and my dad was waiting. He usually never... This was the one time my dad was with me at the arcade, and he was just smirking and grinning as I beat this guy's ass. And that 30-year-old dude was so pissed and cursing under his breath as some little kid just beat his ass. Yeah, I've had a lot of experiences like that. I played all sorts of video games. And going into the 3D era, Soul Calibur, I played a little bit of Tekken, like Tekken 3 and 4 and 5, more onto Tekken later. That's one of my main points of discussion for this video. I always played Street Fighter. Probably one of my top favorite games of all time is Third Strike and Capcom vs. SNK 2. When I dropped out of college, Xbox, the original one, came out with Xbox Live, and Capcom vs. SNK 2 was the first fighting game you could play online versus a human opponent. Did you guys know that? I bet you guys didn't. But that was, for the OGs at the time, a huge, huge deal. Because prior to that, for any fighting game, you had to roll up to the arcade, find a way to get there, whether it was train, subway, or ask your parents to drive you. And then you would hope someone was there to play against, and you just rolled the dice. But with online, all of a sudden, you just turn that shit on, and boom, you're playing against someone on the other end. And I played, I think, Capcom vs. SNK 2, and each match is really long. So I think I played 11,000 matches in total. It was insane. And dropping was a huge problem. If you guys think dropping is bad now, there was no penalty for it back in the day. So if someone was getting their ass kicked, plug, puller, Oh, and I'm guilty of it too, because in Capcom vs SNK 2, it's nothing but Blankas and Saggets, and maybe every now and then there's a Vega or a Bison or Cammy, but it was the same top tiers over and over. Which leads into my next point. I see so many people. I've become an avid fan of Tekken in recent times. I've always played it very casually, and yes, I know I probably missed out on the peak golden era with Tekken 5 Dark Resurrection, but I only took Tekken seriously until the most recent iteration, Tekken 8. And people are like, oh, this guy's a noob, he has no authority on the matter. I played Tekken my whole life. This is the first time I attempted to get really, really good at it for whatever reason, because I just felt the online was a little more stable, there's cross-play, and I don't know, just timing-wise, I was at a place where I'm like, let me blow off some steam, I'm tired of looking at the stock market, let me just beat someone's ass in Tekken. Or most of the time there's some 12-year-old on the other end teabagging and key charging my ass. What I wanted to talk about, my main point of today, is that I think there's a huge elephant in the room that not enough people are talking about, and that is the fighting game community itself. And what I mean by that is, if you just take a step back and look at the whole fighting game genre in general, right now, it is in the best place it's ever been. You have all these IPs, meaning known brands and properties that are making fighting games. You have Marvel Tokken that's coming out, you had Dragon Ball Fighter Z, and obviously you have the same usual suspects in the new Street Fighters, and Tekken, and Guilty Gear. I have no interest in Smash. That's not a real fighting game in my opinion. Come fight me, bro. Yeah, so the fighting games are in the best spot they ever be. The developers, even though sometimes they're not always on the ball, they are listening to the community. And the fact that they can patch a fighting game, I wanted to make the point that the fact that you can update a fighting game is a miracle in itself. That, oh shit, we fucked up, there's this glitch, or this character is way too OP and it's unbalanced. Oh, we'll address it in a patch, and then we'll make the game better. Whereas just a few years ago, guys, this was not possible. I'll go back to the CVS2 example again. You were stuck with Blanka Sagat all day long ad nauseum. They were crouching fierce all freaking day with Sagat. And that was what you had for the duration of the entire lifespan of the game. Unbalanced garbage. They had roll cancel glitch, which kind of made it actually slightly more balanced. And it was just, you had to deal with it. You never saw low tier characters ever in a tournament in CVS2. Because if you were playing to win, why put yourself at a massive handicap? Just pick Sagat or Blanka, or the other people I mentioned. So just be grateful. I know you youngins, you broccoli heads, the zoomers, you're like, shut up, times are different. Someone made a point to me in a chat the other day that the standards are different now. That is true, that's a fair point. Just be reminded that this is probably the best time to be a fighting game, video game fan. Because yes, we get balance patch updates, we get constant new characters, new stages, new everything. New sequels, and that is amazing to me. Even I forget sometimes. I'm like, oh man, I really like this character, but I have to give it up because he just sucks. And then, ooh, a couple months later, new patch comes out, they buffed him. Now he's viable. Now I can play the character that I feel that resonates with me, instead of playing top tier horrors like all these other guys. And so going back to Tekken 8, it reignited my passion for fighting games, because I was losing my passion for fighting games for a little while there, because I don't like the direction of just, it's like a single player game, meaning you have less player interaction. Someone lands a launcher or gets a combo starter, and then you put down your controller while you let the other guy do his rehearsed combo that he's practiced day in and day out. And then half your energy is gone, and then, okay, it now becomes a two-touch round. I really wish they can go away from that, because the whole point of fighting games is to fight, to have interactions, tit for tat, you know, I punch, you punch, and see how we react and learn and stuff. You can't do that if you hop kick and then you're dead right after. I used to be a huge fan, I still kind of am, but a huge fan of MMA, UFC, martial arts in general. Imagine you're watching a professional match and then instead of seeing, you know, Stephen Bonner, Forrest Griffin type fight where they're going back and forth all day, rock'em sock'em robots, it's just over with one hop kick. And then the other guy doesn't even get a chance. He's just air juggled in the fight and the fight is over within a minute. That is not fun. The fun in a fighting game is the interactions between the two players or the two fighters and seeing comebacks, seeing people adapt. That fighting, right? Fighting. That's what is fun about fighting games. And this day and age, it's let's just make it 60% life combos and you're air juggled for 30 seconds, go for a bathroom break. I think some of the fighting game developers got that message, but it's still, every new fighting game is just long ass 100-hit combos. I have high hopes for the new Virtual Fighter. Please, please, please go away from that high ass combo shit. So that's the problem with Tekken 8. It's the main complaint about Tekken 8 is everyone is overtuned and it's way too overtuned for offense. That if you're not attacking, you're losing. The moment you lose your momentum and you're not attacking anymore and you're put on the defense, there's way too many 50-50s. You have to memorize the frame data. And unless you're a professional pro that studies all the frame data, I don't study frame data. I don't have time for that shit. You're just, when is it my turn? Is it ever my turn? And then if you guess wrong, you die, you blow up. Going back to that 60% death combo. So they really, Tekken, in my opinion, Tekken, all they need to do to address the game is just make it one heat activation per match and maybe have it, you build up to it. Maybe the defender on the defense, or if they take damage, that raises your heat meter even more. And then you activate it by like round 2 or 3 instead of having it filled up at the beginning. And having it 3 times, no, just 1 time per match. And also, because I hate watching 30-second clips of rage art, just make that once per match. And that will streamline, smooth out the flow of the match, make it way more, there won't be interruptions. And when they finally do activate heat or do a rage art, it's that much more hype, right? If it's only once per match, then boom, he's coming from behind, he activates heat, and then he does a long 110 damage combo in Tekken. Or, oh, he's about to lose, and then boom, rage art. Out of nowhere, we forgot rage art existed. Boom, he comes from behind and he steals the win. Not every freaking round. I hope someone higher up likes my idea and sends it up to the chain who has a voice and influence to Harada. And yeah, just buff defense in general. It's okay to have characters that have all the tools, but give the defender something, anything. More tools to just take back their turn. Just in general, I want more player interactions, not less, because it's a fighting game. We want to see people fight. I touched upon it earlier, but yes, game tweaks aside, I just want to remind people that, how do I say this without offending everyone and getting blocked and banned? It's very difficult. Okay, here we go. The reason I gravitated towards fighting games my whole life as a second generation Asian American that grew up in a predominantly white neighborhood, I kind of always had an identity crisis, right? I never really fit in anywhere. I'm not Asian enough, I'm Korean, I wasn't Korean enough. Once you're not a kid anymore, hit teenage years, you realize, okay, I'm not white either. Richard Pryor, what do you mean I'm not white? But yeah, so I always had lacked a community, lacked belonging all through high school and college. I did go through my emo Asian phase, but that was short-lived in college. Dropped out of college, I think my other subscribers will know that. And I joined the Army, which is another place where I felt very out of place. I was the only Asian guy in my whole platoon, maybe the whole fucking company and regiment. And I was infantry, so guess what type of people are in the infantry? Very high school mentality, you know, rednecks and stuff like that. And I got through it. Yeah, it had its ups and downs, but that further made me feel like I never belonged. But throughout that whole time, anytime there was a person that liked fighting games, I was always like, yeah, all right, let's play fighting games. I was drawn to anyone who ever played fighting games. I would go to very local gatherings or tournaments and just see like-minded people who I bet they never really fit in either. And now you're in this group of people that we all have the similar hobby and interest. It's something that we practice and really enjoy at home. And we rarely come across these type of people in our everyday life. And then all of a sudden, boom, it's a room full of them. So there's just happiness, there's good vibes, good energy. You never look at our differences between people. I was at a local the other day. I hope it's okay I mention these people. I won't use their real names. I'll use their Discord tags. This was literally a week and a half ago. It's a place that has weeklies, and they play 2XKO and Street Fighter 6, and very small number of people play Tekken. And I just stepped up by on a whim because it's kind of been, people haven't been showing up because of said people are hating on Tekken. But I happened to come across a few players in Tekken, and I had a blast. And one of them was a female. Her Discord was Kazama's. She beat my ass, and she key charged and taunted me after every win, but I guess I deserved it. And then there was a really cool guy named Go, who is my Asian brother. Really cool dude. Even though he looks older than me, I'm way older than him. We didn't think about each other's differences. We are from different backgrounds, different age and demographics, but we don't give a shit about that. And I even noticed there was another guy that we have very different ideological differences. I never speak politics, so I wasn't ever gonna speak about that shit. But I picked up something and I heard that he's the complete opposite of me. But at the time, we're pals, we're buddies, and we only care about our passion for fighting games. So that is what I missed about fighting games. That is what I always love about fighting games. And finally, to my point, so you guys can all start hating on me. The problem is not the fighting games itself. The problem is you. Because these days, everyone's on social media, everyone's getting manipulated or sees these fake ass news and bullshit on mainstream media. You have a very polarizing figure in our president and in our administration. And I would say that a lot of the fighting community leans left, correct? Is that fair to say? I think so. So they hate this government and this timeline, as people would say. This timeline sucks. I think that's what the Reddit people say. So if you have fighting game people that are generally left-leaning and they're on Reddit, it becomes kind of, I'm sorry, but like a cesspool of negative energy. Reddit feeds that negative energy. There's bots implanted in Reddit that make you hate stuff. And people are addicted to their phones. They're not going outside as much as they need to. I don't think fighting game enthusiasts are the most healthy people. They're pasty motherfuckers. They don't get vitamin D and sunlight. They're not eating healthy. If your physical health suffers and you have a very sedentary lifestyle, your mental health will suffer. And then that is exacerbated till health suffers further by just being on this negative feedback loop with Reddit, with TikTok, with social media in general, Facebook. So then, going back finally, if you understand what I'm getting at, that is the main demographic of fighting games in general. Unhealthy, pasty nerds that hate life right now. I'm sorry, but that's the majority. Not all of them. Don't take offense if this isn't you, but you know exactly what I'm talking about. And it's the elephant in the room. And every fighting game big influencer, they're afraid to speak out on that because that's their bread and butter. They're gonna lose their livelihood. They'll get canceled so fast. You think a Maximilian dude or any of these other guys will come out and say, you guys are all woke. You guys need to toughen up and shut the hell up and stop complaining. Boo, unsubscribe, get out of here, Max, we hate you. It's just a recipe for just hating everything. And then, but still, going back to the passion, they love fighting games. That's the thing they love the most. But then, because just in general, their mind is like, oh, everything sucks, they're gonna find and pinpoint everything about fighting games that they're gonna nitpick and say, this sucks, fuck this game, boycott it. And that is finally my long-winded point about Tekken 8. The game is amazing. It's just you guys are too, I don't know, too blind to see it right now. I love watching professional players play Tekken 8. We had EVO France, which was so hype, so amazing, and I wish John Ding won. He's like a Giga Chad. Even though I'm older than him, he is my role model. He's jacked, he's humble, he's skilled. I bet he's a killer with all the ladies. But yeah, he's awesome, and I'm really rooting for him to really win the big one. He also placed 4th in EWC. And the crowd in EVO France was amazing. They were going, hey, 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 during every long-ass combo to make it a little more interesting. In EWC, we had Low-High and we had Ulsan, a 2-time winner, and the prize pools. Say what you will about the Saudis, they have that money no matter what. You boycotting fighting games in Tekken is not gonna prevent them from having that money. At least they're spending it on a wholesome thing. Maybe it's money laundering, whether it is or not. It's a wholesome, good thing because one of the Saudi princes is a huge fan of fighting games. It's providing the opportunity for all these OG professional players like Low-High, like Junjing, like Ni, like Arslan Ash, all these people who they used to play for scraps. EVO prize pool is laughable. The biggest tournament, even just now, only does less than 10 grand for first place. That doesn't even include inflation. So you're talking about like 5 grand. And then back in the day, EVO 10 years ago only used to do $1,000 for first prize. So the fact that EWC and the Tekken World Tour and SNK World Tour and Capcom World Tour, that you can win a potential like 500 grand, $1 million. Come on guys, why are you hating on that? That's so amazing. And that just brings in more advertising, more corporate sponsorships, more players because it's a viable career now. So you have even more insane matches and high level stuff. And finally, these guys who have been probably ridiculed their whole life, I can only imagine what Korean players went through, especially the older ones, that I bet their parents were always hating, yelling at them, scolding. 정신 차려! That means get real or wake up. And I can only know because I disappointed my mom and dad, so they were a huge disappointment. They're their parents. But now they're making money, they're getting sponsored by esports teams, and it's a wonderful thing. So don't boycott Tekken 8, guys. Just enjoy it for what it is. If you support the game, you're supporting the developers, and you're supporting the players who provide you countless hours of entertainment. That's my main point. Don't take away their ability to feed themselves and their family. Because this is the best time to be a fighting game fan. We got the best games coming out, 2XKO, Marvel Token, and a bunch of other stuff. And yeah, that's my point. I hope I didn't offend too many people. I know even the most ardent haters are gonna be like, shut the fuck up, you loser, you don't know what you're talking about. But deep down, the more angry you get, that means there's a little truth that you heard in here about yourself, because that's when I get offended, when it's like, fuck you, how dare you call me out on my faults. So I want to end this on a positive note, guys, that fighting games are awesome. It has always brought us together. It has always been a positive, good energy thing that just made us forget about the world and just the world's problems. We don't need to bring the world's problems into the thing that we use to escape all that. Does that make sense? Just enjoy fighting games as they are, where we can just enjoy each other and we don't have to look at our differences, and we can focus on our similarities, our passions, our hobbies. I hope to become more involved with the fighting game community. If you guys will have me, I know it's saturated for influencers. It's just something that needed to be said, and I hope that if any bigger influencer out there agrees with me, just maybe shout out and repost. And we need to get real. We need to go back to the essence, the fighting game community. And right now, the fighting game community is toxic. Not everyone, but a large portion of it. And yeah, okay, enough preaching. I'll see you guys online. Don't teabag me. All right, I'm just an old man, so I can't keep up with you youngins. Take care. Bye. Have a good weekend. Tech1V out.